Hello and welcome everyone to the Africam show. It's me, Trishala, and today I am hailing from the great city of Durban. I am visiting some family on the east coast of South Africa. And with all of you today, I'm visiting Old Donyo. What a wonderful way to start. We've got 4 giraffes and an elephant. It's been so busy here at Old Donyo, as it always is. So it's a nice place to start the Africam show this afternoon. Well, welcome aboard. Remember that we're live and interactive, so you can send me questions and comments, anything that you would like to know, anything that you would like to say. You can tell me what you're having to drink, as usual. Today I have no accompaniment with the Africam show, unlike you all with your coffees and your waters and your mountain dews and all of that. And I am looking forward to immersing myself just a little bit. I love spending time in the city, but I also really miss spending time out in the bush. But I am going to get my fix, not just today for this half an hour with all of you, but also I'm going to head up to the Sabi Sand tomorrow. So that's quite exciting. Alright, we've got some hellos coming through. Amber Co, you say happy Tuesday to all. You're ready for another learning adventure. I like that, learning adventure. Dear NC, you say good morning. You're ready with your coffee. Awesome, awesome. Zygote, you say hi Africam and Trishala. Hi Zygote. Aussie Jan 2, you say you're here with your coffee. Oh, Aussie Jan 2. I'm actually here in Durban because my brother, who lives in Australia, is down here visiting family, so I came to see him. I will send my regards to you, Aussie Jan 2, with my Australian brother. Mindy Tillapau, you say, hello Trishala, you're ready to have some fun and learn something new. And Kauru, you say, hi Trishala, hi Kauru. And Alison in Liverpool, the UK, you say, hello, hello all. Wow, there's really nice light right now. It's such a beautiful time at the moment. And I'm seeing it here in Durban as well, in South Africa, where we're finally starting to get a bit of a break from the winter. The temperatures, the dryness. Oh, wonderful. We've got an oryx coming through as well. Just at the back there. Come on, show yourself. So there are 4 species of oryx. There's the East African oryx, the Southern African oryx, Arabian oryx, and the scimitar oryx. And so what we have here is the East African oryx, and there's 2 subspecies of East African oryx. There's the common Bisa oryx, and then there's the fringe-eared oryx. And this is quite wonderful because both those populate, well, they're both East African oryx, just subspecies, but they're quite rare to see. This one's sizing up both the giraffe and the elephant. That was actually quite cute. The oryx picked up its head to have a look at the face of the giraffe. Oh no, too big. Too big for you, Mr. Oryx. Both male and female oryxes have horns, so it's a bit difficult to tell if it's a male or a female. Sorry, a whole lot of hardy-does just came past my window. But the horns of females tend to be a little longer and slimmer, so they look a little bit more than those of males. Jirel, you say good day, and yes, you've got your cup of Dark Paradiso coffee waiting for me and all of Africam. Lovely. Let the safari begin. What a wonderful way to start. Timber Grace, you say good morning, Trishala, from a crazy hot Minnesota. You've got your coffee in hand, and you're excited for the show. Casper's... Ooh. Oh, there we go. I couldn't read that for a moment. Casper's third ghost. You say hello from Milwaukee. You've got cold water in hand. That sounds great. Mindy Tillapau, you say yay! Can't wait to have you back in Juma. Yeah, I can't wait to be back in Juma myself. And Bob from Kalamazoo, you say, hello Trishala, happy Tuesday. You've got coffee today, Bob. What is going on? Is it very cold at the moment? I would have expected a Diet Coke. Well, you know, change is always good. Zygote, you say, beautiful scenery at Old Donyo. Absolutely, as usual. Got a bit of a line now for the waterhole. So this waterhole at Old Donyo is fed either through a borehole or with a pipe. And so it means that there's a constant supply of fresh water, which is one of the reasons that it draws so many animals to the spot, but also one of the reasons that elephants love it, because they're always after nice, clean water. But Old Donyo is not the only spot where there's animals abound, and it's not our only camera. So let's head over to Tau for a little bit, because I think there's 2 Ellies there as well. Oh, look at this! Oh, I love this! So these are 2 bulls, and it's always difficult to be able to judge size with the cameras, especially in an open area where there isn't much else to compare the size to. But they look really big, and I'm saying that because the base of their tusks are nice and wide and thick, and so is the distance between their tusks. So they've got that really nice hourglass shape. The distance between their eyes is widening, and the distance between their tusks is widening. So that spot in between stays the same, and then you get that nice hourglass shape. And that hourglass shape becomes more and more obvious as they get older and larger, because they continuously grow. Now the white one has clearly been dust bathing in this very mineral-rich soil here that's nice and pale, while the other darker one looks like he must have been dust bathing in a different area, possibly actually in the waterhole itself, because it's quite muddy and some of the mud is quite dark there. They look so different, but they're exactly the same species. I often get asked about elephants and the colors of elephants, especially at Madikwe, where Tau is, because there's such different colored soils in different areas. Now, if a third bull came along and was all nice and red, that would be great, because that would also kind of, the 3 of them standing together would kind of signify the dominant soil colors at Madikwe, where Tau is situated. Excuse me. Gert in the Netherlands, you say, good afternoon, Trishala from the Netherlands. Good afternoon, Gert. Thank you so much for joining us for your wildlife fix. So the much paler elephant, he's got his trunk right on the ground. And their behavior of standing quite still and close to each other as well tells me that they're probably communicating with each other. Now, there's a little dung pile there, so I can't see if the darker individual has his trunk on the ground as well, but it is likely. So I've been doing, we go down some deep dives together, us in the Africam community. And so most recently I've been going down a pharyngeal pouch deep dive. If you're not sure what a pharyngeal pouch is, it's a part of an elephant's anatomy. And not much is known about it, but it's a pouch that seems to lie behind and below, so just behind and below the back of the tongue, close to where the hyoid bone is. So the hyoid bone is hyoid bone is something that you have, I have, elephants have, and vocal cords, etc., attached to that area, the fleshy bits in the throat area attached to that hyoid bone. It's what allows some cats to purr, others to roar or soar. And with elephants, also when they're creating sound, they're using that area. But the pharyngeal pouch sits very close to that. And apparently, and I say apparently because, like I said, it's all kind of speculation, because we're not really sure what the purpose of the pharyngeal pouch is. And because it's located so close to the apparatuses that are involved in creating sound, we wonder if it was to help elephants to create those deep resonating frequencies that allow them to communicate over large distances. Even though these two are communicating right now, or perhaps even listening to others communicate, these two are quite close. So maybe they're not using those very, very low frequency sounds. But the pharyngeal pouch seems to hold water. Maybe water for a day when the elephants are unable to find water, but not really water for drinking, but water to spray on themselves. Now, I have myself witnessed times where elephants would dip their trunks into their throat and come out with water. And it's thought that perhaps the pharyngeal pouch is just a canteen. It's a water bottle in a way. But it may also affect their communication. If there is a lot of water in it, maybe they can produce sound that's a little different. Anyway, I just had to share my deep dive on the pharyngeal pouch of elephants. I'm still learning quite a lot about it because it's such a difficult thing to learn about, because there's very little research done on it. Some other individuals, other scientists, are saying perhaps when elephants dip their trunk into their mouths, they're actually taking water from their stomach. But then the pH of that water would likely be acidic. But no one's gone and tested the pH of the water that the elephants are spraying on themselves when they're taking it out of their mouths. So much to think about, and I just wanted to plant that seed there for all of you, because like I said, we love a deep dive. Tell me what you learn, perhaps next time we get to chat to each other, and I'll tell you what I learned. But when we see animals, especially if you're a guide like me or a scientist and you spent a lot of time researching animals, it's always so interesting if you find something that is not well researched or something that is a bit obscure. And for elephants, that pharyngeal pouch is a bit of an obscurity. I'd love to learn more about it. Kauru, you reckon they're buddies? I think they're buddies too. Elephant bulls will hang out in bachelor herds, or maybe just have a single companion, and they roam off over very large home ranges. And there's no doubt that they come across many other bulls that they know. Sometimes they form little groups here, maybe then a bull walks on his own 20 kilometers and finds other bulls to kind of accompany him for a little bit. Generally, in an area, all the elephants know who's there, which other elephants, that is, are there. And though sometimes they may have arguments, they may have disagreements, well, say arguments, but maybe not really, but disagreements, or may fight with each other, or have dominance-related disputes, they still are familiar with most of the individuals in their area. Yorkshire Gamer, you say, hi everyone. Hi Yorkshire Gamer, thank you for joining us, spending this time in the African bush with me and with everyone else in the Africam community. April Owl, hi, you say good morning from a sunny Connecticut. Good morning to you. Sabzada Faisal Atari, you say hi, hello, and thank you so much for joining us. Now, I think that they are still chatting, and there'll be a moment where they'll suddenly kind of snap out of it, and will begin to move around or eat or dust bathe again. Mindy Tillapal, that's a really good question. You'd like to know, why is there such a wide variety in what folks say regarding the number of muscles in an elephant's trunk? So what Mindy Tillapal is referring to is that there is a huge range that we talk about. So in that trunk, we sometimes hear that there's 50,000 muscles, sometimes we hear there's 150,000 muscles in the trunk. And essentially, Mindy, what that comes down to is how you count the muscles. So if I put it very simply, the muscles can go in a circular nature across the trunk, but there's also muscles that go down the trunk. And the discrepancy comes in the definition of what the one muscle is in the trunk. So if we're using the very broad definition, then it would be 50,000. If we're using the very specific definition, we're counting each one of the separate muscles, even if it's just a little bit divided by just a little bit of fat or a little bit of sinew. If we're counting each and every single one of them by the most precise definition of a muscle, then we could say 150,000. But that discrepancy or that variation is not that people are being incorrect. It's just whether they are using the broad definition or the very, very kind of precise definition. But 50,000 and 150,000 are both correct. It all comes down to that definition of a muscle. But I'm glad that you brought that up, because I think it's an important thing to research a little bit further, because that's also something that I remember from when I just started guiding years ago. And I'd like to revisit it, because sometimes we just take it as information that makes sense at that time, but more research could have been done since then. So thank you for reminding me about that, Mindy. Carolyn Morgan, we are going to go visit the black eagle chick in a moment, but I'm just going to answer Caroline Morgan's question. You would like to know, what are the animals that ran in front of the elephants just a minute ago? Squirrels, maybe. Caroline, I must be honest, I didn't see. I can see that there's guinea fowl in the background, but we can keep an eye. There's a guinea fowl walking in front of them, running across now. But, I mean, it could be squirrels. I see in this area, I've seen plenty of tree squirrels, and I've seen South African ground squirrels. So it could have been South African ground squirrels. They tend to be a little bit bigger than the tree squirrels, and being ground squirrels, they are often on the ground. So it could have been that, Caroline Morgan. All right, shall we head over to pay a visit to our black eagle chick that is growing up so fast? We'll come back to the Ellies in a moment. Oh my goodness. You're a teenager now, look at that. Oh, this is amazing. How quickly this chick developed. And it's the same for all birds, really. As soon as those flight feathers start to come out, it happens so quickly. That down gets replaced so quickly, and before you know it, the bird is about to fledge. Now we can expect this bird to fledge at between about 90 to 100 days, and we first saw it in June, so it's coming up on that time. Now, it might stay in its parents' territory for maybe a month more, but after that, the parents are going to start to chase the chick, well, not then a chick, but a sub-adult, chase it from their territory, and that's a way to force it to move on and find its own territory. The sub-adults always have this bit of a scruffy appearance, or juveniles, I should say. A bit scruffy and quite mottled, and that makes it really difficult to ID them. But we're lucky that we can see exactly what a juvenile Verreaux's eagle or black eagle looks like. You just have a little bit longer. So you should really, I think, one of the things that I love about being able to watch a nest and watch an individual grow is that you get to firsthand see the developmental stages. Now it's going to take this juvenile even longer, or immature individual, about 2 years more to actually become just like the adults, to get that sleek black feathers and that distinctive white V on the back. Now it's hiding from us. There you go. Oh, hello. My goodness. Gosh. I just want to see if the chick will come out, in full view before we move on. Come on. You can do it. But if you had to see this immature individual flying about, it would be very, very difficult to ID him or her. There's zero sexual dimorphism except slight difference in size when it comes to Verreaux's eagles or black eagles. So it's incredibly difficult to tell who the male or the female is. But luckily, because of the Black Eagle project that runs in this area, we might, or they might keep tabs, or maybe this individual will return to this area. Nice little update at the Black Eagle cam. Goodness. And now, I guess maybe a few more weeks. But this chick just looks like a teenager. Anyway, we've got another question about some elephants. So how about we head back over to Tao? There we go. Amberco, you'd like to know, when an elephant is upset and charging, how fast can an elephant run? So an elephant can run pretty fast when it's charging, maybe about 25 kilometers per hour, about 15 miles per hour. So that's quite fast, and I tell you, Amberco, it's faster than you and I could ever run. But I find that, so when we're in a vehicle and an elephant begins to start to charge, or even just mock charge, the thing I find most intimidating is not the feeling that I can't escape based on my speed, because I'm in a vehicle and I'm going to be able to drive faster than the elephant. But what I find most intimidating is the size. So it's not just that something is running towards you. It's that the elephant is massive, does not need to use the road, can come charging at the shortest distance, straight line distance. And it is very intimidating. It's just so massive, so massive. And if you are really in a bad position and the elephant happens to come really close to you, even at that speed, even if you are driving fast enough to escape from the elephant, when an elephant comes really close to you, the size is so imposing, and it's not just standing there. It's hurling its massive tonnage towards you, and the ears are out, and the head is shaking from side to side. It is incredibly, incredibly intimidating. It's not the speed that gets me. It's everything else. Now we've got a crook. These two buddies have decided to part ways. Perhaps that's what they were talking about. So just thinking about the speed that humans run at, I think Usain Bolt had a top speed of about, 40 or 44 kilometers per hour, or something like that. So that's an Olympic sprinter, and that's the best that he could do. And 30 kilometers per hour is probably doable for some really athletic people, also probably people who are competitors, sprinters. But speaking averagely, I think a human's probably running between 8 and 10 kilometers per hour if they're properly running. And that's really not enough to outrun most animals in the bush. Oh, why thank you, Bull, for feeling so comfortable with us that you allowed us to see all of your anatomy. Now, if you could show us your pharyngeal pouch, I would be so happy. Of course, you can't do that. I did once read, though, that when somebody was doing a dissection of an elephant, they couldn't find the pharyngeal pouch. So then it kind of became a bit of a conspiracy. But I'll have to read a little bit more, and we'll get to go down that deep dive together. Well, we've just got just a minute or so together. How about we end off at the beautiful, stunning Old Donyo? There we go. Oh, the light. The light. Giraffe walking away. Our elephant bull is still there. Caroline Morgan, you say it's always interesting to see the different techniques giraffes use to get a drink. It is always interesting to see if they're a flicker, if they're a bender, or they're a splayer. So many interesting things. What a stunning way to end our time together. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you for your questions and your comments, and mostly for being part of our Africam community. Enthusiasts that spend time learning and loving the animals. But from me, time to say goodbye. Thank you so much for joining us. I won't be seeing you too much over the next 2 weeks. So I'll be in the Sabi Sand, but I'm sure the wonderful people will hold down the fort. Bye for now, everyone.